We'll get going. Yeah, I'll introduce her when she gets here. Okay. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to our Finance Committee hearing. We are going to get started. The purpose of today's finance hearing is to review the proposed 2019 operating budget for the City of Columbus. The mayor submitted this proposal to City Council for consideration on November 14th. We tabled the budget at the November 19th council meeting to review it in depth. Today's hearing will provide a broad overview of city revenue from the auditor's office, a review of the budget process and overall budget from the Department of Finance and Management, and a quick summary of individual budgets from each department. There will be a series of additional hearings held in the coming weeks, all before the end of the year. Each council committee chair will conduct those hearings to provide a more detailed look at the relevant department's budget. The schedule for these hearings has been published in the City Journal. And as I said, they'll all be completed before the end of the year. There will be an opportunity to provide public testimony today and at each of the other hearings on the schedule. Members of the public who are not able to attend a hearing can also call or email my office or other council offices to provide feedback. If you are here and you would like to provide testimony, please fill out a blue speaker slip, which looks like this, in the back of the room. I want to thank Mayor Ginther for his work setting out the priorities of this budget. Operating budgets provide the foundation that keeps our city operating and moving forward. I also want to thank Director Lombardi and his team for spearheading this process, as well as each director and their staffs and department representatives who are here today. I know it takes a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes over weeks and months before this review even begins. Thank you for being here and for your ongoing work with Council throughout this process. I would also like to thank my colleagues who are here with us today, Council President Shannon Hardin, Councilmember Priscilla Tyson, Councilmember Mitch Brown, and Councilmember Emmanuel Remy. With that, I'd like to start by turning the microphone over to Deputy Auditor Darlene Wilds to provide an overview of city revenue.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. On October 18th, 2018, City Auditor Kilgore presented her 2019 Statement of Estimated Available Resources for the General Operating Fund to the city's Finance Director. On pages 24 through 30 of the city's 2019 budget book, you will find that statement and the related notes to the statement. The notes provide some explanation and details regarding the numbers included in the estimate and how those amounts were determined. The estimated available resources for the General Operating Fund for 2019 are $912 million. This estimate is $18 million or 2% higher than the original estimate for 2018. The estimated available resources are made up of the following components. 1, anticipated revenues for 2019. 2, expected transfers into the General Operating Fund from other general fund subfunds. 3, expected transfers into the General Operating Fund from other city funds. 4, an estimate for the amount of 2018 encumbrances that will be carried into 2019 but canceled and not expended in 2019. And 5, an estimate for the amount of the ending unencumbered cash balance at December 31st, 2018. I will speak to the estimate for each of these 5 components of the available resources. First, anticipated revenues for 2019. The total estimated resources from revenues for 2019 is approximately $875,270,000. The 2019 estimated revenues are $23.5 million or 2.76% higher than the original estimate for 2018. Each of the line items of the estimate for the revenue were determined based on historical information, trends, the local economy, changes in the job market, and changes in city policy and/or rates for various services provided by the city. Revenues from income tax make up approximately 78% of the total general fund revenues. Income tax revenue, along with property tax revenue, investment income, shared revenue, and charges for services, represent approximately 95% of the total general fund revenues. I'll provide some details on each of these sources. Income tax revenue is estimated at $684,258,000. This estimate is 2.25% higher than the city auditor's original estimate for 2018. The increase in income tax revenue expected in 2018 as compared to 2017 was 2.75%. However, through October 31st, 2018, income tax revenue increased only 1.8% over the same period in 2017. Our estimate for 2019 includes consideration for wage stagnation noted in Central Ohio, as well as changes made to the income tax code as a result of House Bill 5 and 49, sections of which became effective in 2018. Property tax revenue is estimated at $52,838,000. This estimate represents 12.4% increase over the 2018 original estimate. This estimate was determined based upon the Franklin County Auditor's expected increase in assessed values. Investment income is estimated at $13 million. The city pools all of its cash and investments for maximum investing efficiency. Earnings on the pool are allocated to individual funds at the discretion of City Council after meeting certain requirements. Interest earnings in excess of amounts required to be allocated are recorded in the general fund. This amounts to approximately 55% of total interest earnings on cash and investments. The 2019 estimate is based on the city's current levels of cash and investments and projected interest rates in 2019. Shared revenue is estimated at $27.8 million. The primary components of shared revenue are local government funds and casino revenue. Based on information provided by the State of Ohio and Franklin County, an increase of 3.3% has been factored into the estimate of shared revenue. Charges for services are estimated at $61,984,000. The most significant revenue sources included in charges for services are pro rata, Division of Fire Emergency Medical Services, and special police services. These revenue sources, along with license and permit fees, fines and forfeitures, and other miscellaneous revenues, are expected to total $875,270,000. The second component of available resources are transfers in from other general fund subfunds. During 2018, the city received an $18.7 million premium rebate from the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation related to the 2016 policy year. The Auditor of the State of Ohio requires that the rebate be distributed back to the funds from which it was paid. Based on that allocation, approximately $12.6 million of this rebate was posted to the Basic City Services subfund. The administration has determined that this amount would be used to fund basic services in the 2019 budget. Therefore, this amount will be transferred into the general operating fund. The third component of available resources are transfers from other city funds. Job incentive programs are paid out of the general operating fund. Since 25 cents of each tax dollar is allocated to the special income tax fund, a transfer of $4.75 million will be made from the special income tax fund to the general operating fund to pay for job incentive payments to be made in 2019. The fourth component of the available resources are prior year encumbrance cancellations. At the end of each fiscal year, encumbrances outstanding in the general operating fund are carried forward to the next fiscal year. The 5-year average of these encumbrances carried forward is approximately $35 million. When those encumbrances are carried forward and canceled instead of expended, funds are freed up for additional expenditures. The amount of prior year encumbrances that we expect to carry forward and not expend in 2019 is $5 million. The final component of available resources is estimated unencumbered cash balance at December 31st, 2018. At the time of the preparation of the 2019 estimate, the city auditor determined that the 2018 revenue estimate should be increased by a total of $6.1 million based on actual results through the end of September. In addition, the city's Finance and Management Department's third quarter review indicates that $7.8 million of 2018 appropriations will not be spent in 2018. This combination of increased revenue and decreased expenditures are expected to provide available resources for 2019 in the form of an unencumbered cash balance of $14 million. This completes our summary of the 2019 estimated available resources. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from my colleagues for Deputy Auditor? All right, next we will have a presentation from the Department of Finance and Management, Director Joe Lombardi.
Thank you and good afternoon. President Harden, Chair Brown, members of council, on behalf of the administration, I am pleased to present Mayor Ginther's proposed 2019 operating budget. As Councilmember Brown indicated earlier, putting a budget together is not a simple task, and it happens not in a vacuum. There's a lot of work that starts in around June and culminates in early November. It cannot be done without the work of many people, and this evening I would like to first thank those folks that are part of that process. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Ginther for his leadership and his vision of the budget. I also want to thank council, and especially Councilmember Brown, for your leadership as finance chair. I want to thank my department colleagues who put in long hours and phone calls and crunching numbers for us. I also want to thank Auditor Kilgore for her leadership. And lastly, but not least, my staff. My budget staff is outstanding. They put in a lot of hours, countless hours, late at night, sometimes on the weekend. It's one of the few times I think they're happy because I leave them alone and let them do what they do best, and that's put together a budget package. From the leadership of Deputy Director Dan Giangardella and Administrator Adam Robbins and Aileen Heiser, they just do a great job of leading that team. And I also would like to thank Stu Stahl for all the boards that you see here today, and also the budget book and all the pictures and graphs are all done through our employee, Stu Stahl. So I wanted to thank all those folks for everything they do for me to make this budget possible. The budget submitted to council for consideration is balanced, sound, and reflects the mayor's priorities: public health and safety, neighborhoods, economic development, early childhood education, diversity and inclusion, and operational efficiencies. This evening, what I would like to do is present an overview of the mayor's proposed budget and then transition into the Department of Finance and Management's budget specifically. My colleagues here this evening will have an opportunity to speak to you about the details of his or her budget. The total operating budget, when you consider all funds, equals $1.85 billion, of which $912 million is allocated for the general fund. The general fund budget for 2019 is 2% higher than the 2018 amended budget. Dollars allocated to the general fund budget provide funding for all day-to-day government services and operations that are necessary to meet the level of service of our community that our community desires and deserves. The $912 million is based on the total resources that have been estimated for 2019 by the city auditor. As Deputy Auditor Wilds has indicated, I won't go into all the things that went into the 912. She did a wonderful job of doing that, so thank you. Our safety forces are the best in the country, and to support the men and women that keep our neighborhoods safe, Mayor Ginther has proposed $622.5 million for the Department of Public Safety. This represents over 68% of the general fund's 2019 resources. The budget includes funding for 80 police recruits, 75 fire recruits, a new police and fire cadet program, and the components of Mayor Ginther's comprehensive neighborhood safety strategy, which include the CARE Coalition, Police Safe Streets Initiative, Safe Neighborhoods, the APPS program, and Neighborhood Crisis Response Team. Columbus, like many other communities throughout the United States, have been affected by the opioid epidemic. This national crisis requires collaboration on many fronts within the community. The city is a partner in the Franklin County Opiate Action Plan, and the administration's 2019 proposed budget continues to address this crisis with funding to SafePoint and for additional treatment and prevention options, Narcan supplies, proactive education, and community needle disposal options. Our diverse neighborhoods are the soul of Columbus, and the mayor continues to invest in them. The 2019 budget includes funding for 2 additional neighborhood liaisons and several initiatives, including the recently completed One Linden Plan, My Brother's Keeper, New Americans Leadership Academy, Neighborhood Pride Program, and support of the area commissions. Many in our community are still in need of support, and the mayor is committed to helping those residents who rely on vital community services to meet their basic needs. To that end, the city will continue to support our service partners and provide funding for community shelter board, Primary One Health, and other vital human social services. Every baby deserves to celebrate his or her first birthday. However, in Franklin County, approximately 150 babies die before their first birthday. CelebrateOne has made strides in the reduction of infant mortality. However, there is still more work to be done. That is why the budget provides funding for CelebrateOne to continue its work to reduce infant mortality by 40% by 2020 through improving social and economic conditions, maternal care, postnatal care, and providing education on safe sleeping. To date, CelebrateOne has over 600 Safe Sleep ambassadors. Mayor Ginther believes in ensuring a bright future for all our children in Columbus. Children who attend high-quality early childhood education are more likely to succeed in kindergarten and in life. The general fund budget continues to fund the efforts through the Early Start program and Future Ready, which helps support high-quality pre-K opportunities with star-rated service providers. The mayor is committed to more diverse and inclusive workforce and supplier base. The budget includes dollars to support the Columbus Women's Commission, whose mission is to advance the economic well-being of women. The administration's budget includes funding to provide continued training, workforce and supplier diversity strategies, and outreach led by the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. As indicated, income tax represents 78% of the revenue stream. Therefore, Columbus must remain attractive for job growth and economic development. The proposed 2019 budget includes funding for organizations such as Rev 1 Ventures and Columbus 2020 to encourage entrepreneurship, innovation, and small business development. The administration continues to prepare for the future through economic efficiencies and reforms. The city has kept its promise to voters, and I am proud to say that we have already met our goal of having $75 million in the rainy day fund by the end of 2018. The projected balance will be $76.2 million. The mayor, the city auditor, and city council increased that goal to $80 million by the year-end 2020. The 2019 budget includes a deposit of $1.75 million into the rainy day fund, and the projected balance by the end of 2019 will be $79 million. In addition, a deposit of $2.5 million will be made to the 27th pay period fund, bringing the balance of that fund to $25.1 million by year-end 2019. This fund was established in anticipation of a 27th payday, which will occur again in fiscal year 2020. Lastly, the administration will deposit $1 million into the Basic City Services Fund. Besides continuing to implement economic reforms, the administration has launched a comprehensive operational review of numerous city services and departments to provide a framework for the future structure of the city. That concludes my overview of Mayor Ginther's 2019 operating budget. If there are no questions, I would like to transition and present the highlights of the Department of Finance and Management's budget.
Have any questions from my colleagues concerning the overview? I'd also like to welcome our colleague, Council President Pro Tem Michael Stinziano. Thank you for being here. Director Lombardi, you can proceed to the Finance and Management's budget.
Thank you. The Department of Finance and Management is composed of two work units, financial management and asset management. The department is responsible for coordinating and facilitating the mayor's operating and capital budget, the procurement of fleet, real estate management, city construction management, and also facilities management. The total budget, when all funds are considered, is $138.4 million. The general fund portion is $72 million. The 2019 budget supports 294 full-time employees and 24 part-time employees. Within the department's administration budget, $50,000 is earmarked for a new strategic sourcing platform called Bonfire, which advertises, accepts, and scores requests for proposals. $150,000 for the Film Commission, $50,000 for the Music Commission, and $17.6 million for the disbursement of hotel motel taxes. The Facilities Management Division is the largest general fund division within the department. The division's budget totals $17.6 million and supports 90 full-time employees and 19 part-time employees. Included in the budget is $6 million for utility expenses, $1.3 million for repair and maintenance services, $3.6 million for custodial services at various locations, and $1.8 million for security services. The Fleet Management Division's proposed budget is over $39 million, and it supports 138 full-time and 3 part-time positions. The division is an internal service division, which allows it to charge back its services to other agencies. Approximately 6,400 vehicles are within our fleet. The division has a budget of nearly $10 million for fuel, $835,000 for compressed natural gas, and $5.8 million in parts and supplies. Fleet Management continues to strengthen the city's green initiative by offering compressed natural gas at 4 state-of-the-art stations, and is an important part of the Smart Columbus initiative as it relates to the purchase and deployment of electric vehicles funded by the Paul G. Allen Philanthropies. Currently, the division has deployed over 90 electric vehicles with plans to deploy over 100 more. As with previous budgets, the Department of Finance and Management will include resources which benefit other general fund agencies. Including in these resources are $18.7 million for citywide technology billings and $1.3 million for the public defender's contract. The Finance Citywide account includes funds that are transferred as needed throughout a fiscal year. For 2019, the fund is budgeted at $25.7 million and includes the deposits into the Rainy Day Fund, Basic City Services Fund, the 27th Pay Period Fund, as well as economic development incentives. The City of Columbus is a vibrant and diverse community, and Mayor Ginther believes all neighborhoods should share in that success. As the 14th largest city in the country, the City of Columbus continues to be one of the largest cities to maintain a AAA bond rating from all 3 major rating agencies. While our economic outlook is stable, the administration continues to consider the future and prepare for unknown fiscal challenges that are ahead. By working together, we can ensure Columbus is America's opportunity city. In closing, I would like to thank Mayor Ginther for his leadership, Councilmember Brown for your leadership as a finance chair, all council members, Auditor Kilgore, my department colleagues, and my team for all their dedication and hard work. That concludes my overview. I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Director Lombardi. Thanks for outlining your department's budget. I know they do the hard work to make this whole operation run, so we appreciate it. Are there any questions for Director Lombardi about the finance and management budget? Yep, Councilmember Tyson.
Thank you, Chair Brown. Director, first of all, again, I thank you and your team and the administration for this budget. But I also just want to comment on your ongoing commitment and the city's ongoing commitment to our fleet management, which is an award-winning team. But also just the commitment around the compressed natural gas and for it and buying the additional vehicles to ensure that we continue to decrease our dependency on gasoline as well, and also decrease our expenses. So I just appreciate your commitment to continue to do that work.
Thank you, Councilmember Tyson. Yeah, the Fleet Management Division takes a lot of pride in that compressed natural gas, and I do not have the numbers with me, but I know we are lowering our usage of fuel. I can always get that to all the council members to show the kind of work we've done in that arena.
Thank you. Next, we have the Department of Development, Director Steve Shoney.
Thank you, Chair Brown, President Harden, members of council. Let me begin with a couple thank yous. I want to first thank Councilmember Page and Councilmember Tyson, who chair my committees, for their continued partnership and help through this process, and look forward to diving deeper in our committee hearings on the budget. I also want to thank A couple folks on Joe's team, Carolyn Thurman and Lynn Beatty, who are our budget analysts who do a fantastic job working with my team, including Rory McGinnis, Bill Webster, Alex Schofield, and Hannah Reed, have done a great job in preparing all of this. And as you have questions, I may rely on them for answers. I just have a few slides. The Department of Development is proposing an operating budget of $47 million for 2019. This includes $26 million from the general fund and $6.6 million from Community Development Block Grant. The remaining 29%, or $13.8 million, is comprised of various funds used to meet our operating needs. Our 2019 request is largely flat over last year with the exception of our CDBG proposal. With the assistance of the Department of Finance and Management, we evaluated how our department uses CDBG funds and organized our budget around projects that could be deployed more effectively in 2019. We are proposing 2 major neighborhood projects totaling $3.7 million. These projects include $2.5 million for streetscape, roadway, sidewalk, and lighting improvements supporting the Southern Gateway project along Parsons Avenue, and $1.2 million to install pedestrian-scale streetlights along Cleveland Avenue from Chittenden to Hudson. Both projects will improve neighborhood safety and benefit motorists, pedestrians, and cyclists. For our general fund budget, the 2019 proposed general fund budget of $26 million allows us to focus our efforts on our core mission and the mayor's strategic priorities for 2019. We will allocate $7.9 million, or 30% of our general fund budget, to fund our code enforcement division and to improve the safety and quality of life in our neighborhoods. $6.6 million, or 25% of our housing, to support our housing division to preserve and produce housing that helps build strong, distinct, and vibrant neighborhoods in the city. This includes $5.7 million to support our anti-homelessness efforts through the Community Shelter Board. We have $5.7 million to assist our administration division. This includes $2.4 million to support citywide social service agency funding. We have $2.1 million to allow our planning division to enhance the physical character of our community and promote balanced and sustainable land use. We have $3.6 million to allow our economic development division to leverage city assets to help businesses of all sizes grow and thrive in Columbus. This $3.6 million includes $1.2 million to support job creation and entrepreneurship in our city. And then finally, we have allocated $680,000 of general fund budget to our land redevelopment division, better known as the City Land Bank, to improve our neighborhoods by returning abandoned and underutilized residential and commercial properties to productive use. Our staffing remains pretty constant. We aren't projecting any large increases or decreases. We have added 1 position in planning and 1 position in land redevelopment, but those are largely filling vacancies that we've had present in the past. So our 2018 accomplishments, looking backward, I'll cover those and then talk a little bit about what our objectives are going forward. 2018 has been a great year. We completed, with much help from our friends on council, the residential tax incentive policy overhaul, the establishment of the citywide planning policy C2P2. Through November of 2018, we have 2,929 new and retained job commitments. This year, we reached the milestone of reducing the vacant and abandoned properties by 40% since 2012, including 751, a reduction of 751 vacant and abandoned properties in the city in 2017. And we provided 7,501 people with shelter, with an anticipated 10,000 people provided with shelter by the end of the year. Finally, looking forward to our strategic priorities for next year, for 2019. In neighborhoods, we will continue the implementation of our residential tax incentive policy to create more affordable units throughout the city. We will build on the work of C2P2 to take updated planning policies and procedures around the city. And then as the mayor announced in late October, we will be developing a city and hopefully regional plan for affordable housing in terms of how best to deploy our dollars to ensure that we are getting the most affordable housing to help us keep up with the strength of our market and not have the strength of our housing market leave many of our neighbors behind. In economic development, we will complete our small business and entrepreneurial programming study that will create a comprehensive small business agenda, policy framework, and action plan. We hope to exceed our 5-year average in the number of jobs created, the number of jobs retained, new payroll, average hourly wage, and leveraged investment. We will continue to look for operational efficiencies and seek to reduce the amount of time it takes us to respond to emergency code, both emergency and non-emergency code enforcement complaints. That concludes my proposal. I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Director Shoney. Are there questions for Director Shoney? I look forward to hearing in more detail about your budget. Councilmember Page is convening the Housing and Economic Development and Small Business Committees for their budget hearing on Wednesday, December 5th at 5 p.m. here in this room. So thank you so much, Director Shoney. Next, we have the Department of Building and Zoning Services, Director Scott Messer.
President Harden, Chair Brown, other members of council, thank you for the opportunity to present a summary of the 2019 budget for Building and Zoning Services. Building and Zoning Services is responsible for building permits, plan review, and inspections, engineering plans coordination, as well as all zoning-related activities. The 2019 budget for the Department of Building and Zoning Services totals just over $23 million. It provides for 160 full-time employees in the department, as well as 18 part-time employees. All the activities of the department are funded exclusively through the Development Services Fund, which was established from permitting and licensing revenues. So no general fund dollars support the department. These revenues are based on a City Council-approved fee schedule. A new one is being proposed for 2019. Generally speaking, we look at that fee schedule every 5 years to adopt the appropriate fees for our services for permitting and licensing. And again, the newest one will go in effect in 2019. The 2019 budget that we've established will allow us to maintain operations and continue to meet or exceed our key performance metrics and industry timelines. Almost 80% of our budget is for personnel costs. But it will also allow us to continue to streamline processes for our customers, such as additional online permitting, electronic plans review, submissions, as well as expedited plan review processes. Almost $280,000 will go for the replacement of 10 vehicles out of our fleet of more than 50 per our replacement schedule. As I said, most of our budget is for personnel costs, and again, our budget is established based on revenue model or revenue prediction from year to year. So rather than an allocation, we get all of our money from the fees that come in on an annual basis. I'd like to thank Mayor Ginther's office, Finance, Councilmember Tyson and her staff, as well as my team at BZS for all of their support and guidance, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you so much, Director Messer. Next, we have the Director of the CelebrateOne initiative. We're going to play musical chairs again here. Everyone is Steve Shoney today. The Director of the CelebrateOne initiative, Erica Clark-Jones. Thank you so much for being here and presenting your budget.
Chair Brown, President Harden, members of council, thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to also publicly thank Aileen Heiser for her assistance in helping CelebrateOne put together our budget this year. CelebrateOne is a place-based collective impact initiative to reduce the infant mortality rate by 40% by the year 2020 in Columbus and Franklin County. CelebrateOne is a division of the mayor's office and relies on the deep partnerships with city departments such as Columbus Public Health, the Department of Development, Franklin County Commissioners, Franklin County Job and Family Services, Physicians Care Connection, the Central Ohio Hospital Council, and the Ohio Department of Health and Ohio Department of Medicaid, as well as the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. and the support of several private sector foundations. Additionally, these same partners support CelebrateOne through annual grants that comprise approximately 2/3 of the CelebrateOne total budget. For 2019, the CelebrateOne budget is approximately $5.3 million. The proposed contribution from the City of Columbus budget is $1.29 million. The use of the proposed general fund will support 8 full-time employees, the CelebrateOne office infrastructure, and focus resources in key intervention areas that will impact birth outcomes in 2019 and beyond. Through 2020, CelebrateOne will maintain a focus on infant vitality by highlighting prenatal care access, prenatal home visiting for high-risk mothers, and infant-safe sleep, with a goal of reducing the number of preterm births and connecting disconnected families to life-affirming resources. Our proposed City of Columbus 2019 budget aligns to support this emphasis with $100,000 for microgrants to assist community agencies to become evidence-based home visiting providers. Additionally, this budget proposes $25,000 for grassroots marketing efforts to increase access to home visiting services across Columbus. We are grateful for the leadership of this council and the mayor's office that helps to keep public and private partners at the table, to invest resources so that every baby in Columbus and Franklin County lives to celebrate his or her first birthday, regardless of race, address, or family income. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much. Are there questions from my colleagues? I have a quick question about the home visiting. I know that there are other home visiting providers in the county, if that's the proper term for them. How does CelebrateOne's home visiting initiative fold in with the current efforts from other entities?
Yes, thank you for the question, Chairman Brown. So we do have key home visiting providers in our community. What we have found in comparison to Cleveland and Cincinnati, we have less capacity than other cities. We encourage additional community-based providers to step into the home visiting space so that we can achieve at least 5,000 home visits per year. Currently, we have about 1,900 home visits per year. And in order for us to make a significant impact to high-risk mothers through evidence-based home visiting, which is a strategy several cities have supported and embraced to reduce their infant mortality rate, we need more partners in the area. So while the Ohio Department of Health is increasing the funds available for new providers, we are helping to just onboard through these micro grants to provide startup fees for the agencies to get compliant with the state of Ohio.
Okay, great. With the goal of 5,000 per year.
That's right.
Thank you. Next, we will move to the Director of the Civil Service Commission, Amy DeLong.
Good evening, Chair Brown and members of council. I have to first take this opportunity to also thank Josh Hopping, our budget analyst from the Finance Department. Being a small department like Civil Service, we don't have a dedicated budget person, and he does a lot of hand-holding, and he is greatly appreciated. That being said, the Civil Service Commission is part of the checks and balances of city government and is responsible for maintaining a merit system of employment to ensure the city employment is accessible and filled with qualified, competent individuals. To that end, the Commission's budget request for 2019 is $4,528,328. This reflects an increase over our 2018 appropriation, which was $4,310,306. The increase is really a result of testing administration for firefighter, which we test every other year. Expected expenses for 2019 are as follows. Our non-uniform testing staff and supplies is $641,846. Our uniform testing staff and supplies is $1,533,815. And our administration and other expenses, which includes Restoration Academy at $286,000, is $2,352,667. With the adoption of the requested budget, the Commission will have a total staff of 36 full-time and 12 part-time regular positions to carry out our mission. And with that being said, I'd be happy to entertain any questions you might have.
Thank you so much, Director DeLong. Any questions? Next, we have the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and Director Demita Brown is here to present on ODeyes Budget.
Thank you, Chairwoman Brown, President Harden, and members of council. Like civil service, I want to thank Heather Traynor from Finance and Management, who was a tremendous support to our office in helping us to build out our 2019 budget. Like civil service, we are a small team without a dedicated resource, and so it took a lot of hand-holding to help us get to this point. In addition, I would also want to thank various members of our cabinet team, as well as Chair Page and Council President Harden, who have also been very supportive of our office through 2018. 2018 saw a number of successes with respect to our accomplishments. We were able to implement the first career fair for the City of Columbus, which engaged over 1,000 job seekers in the City of Columbus. In addition, we've also saw an increase in our supplier diversity utilization, going from 8.4% to 12.5% in 2017. And so that work could not have been done without the support of members of cabinet, as well as each of you in chamber here, to help us get to those numbers. Our 2019 budget will really help us to return to a level of service that will allow us to execute on the mayor's priorities related to the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. From a workforce diversity standpoint, as well as supplier diversity and outreach, we really are looking to return to a level of service that will help us make inroads there. Our budget is $1.18 million, which is in large part composed of staffing. In 2019, we will look to re-ramp up our staffing from a current level of 4 to 11. In addition, we will also be looking to complete the disparity study in 2019 as well. In addition to that, we will also be looking to do a much more extensive level of outreach than what we've seen in the past to ensure that we can continue to build up on the momentum of our supplier diversity utilization over the past year. 2019 for us is really about getting back to the core services of our division and making sure that as we implement the 2019 budget, that we are able to ensure that we're making an impact with our small businesses and that our diversity within our city ranks is reflective of our community. With that said, I will stop there and just also want to acknowledge the support that we've been given by Councilmember Page in really helping us to re-envision our office and begin to do things differently and make sure that we have an impact in the communities. So with that, I'll stop and take any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much, Director. I think we do have one question from Councilmember Brown.
Ms. Brown, could you also give us a more definitive response to the disparity study? Is it going to be in the first quarter of 2019, mid-year 2019, or the end of the year 2019?
While I cannot commit to a time frame, I will say this. We are now at a place that we have a better understanding of the data that's required to execute on the disparity analysis. We have completed internal reviews of that data and are now preparing, as we speak, to turn that information back over to the consultant for further analysis. The timeline will be in large part based on the level of analysis that would need to be done by the consultant and the time frame for which they would be available to provide that information back. We would anticipate that over the next 30 days at least, we would have a more definitive timeline for you that we could share.
So we can anticipate you providing this council with some additional information in the first quarter of next year?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brown and Councilmember Brown. I was going to ask that question. So we'll have in 30 days, we'll have some information back from them as to the timeline, as to when they will be able to have this report completed. Is that what you're stating?
That is our hope. So there are a couple of aspects of this. One is just the data, which we've been working on, that has been in large part of the delay. There are other aspects of the study, such as other chapters or analyses that go into the disparity study, such as our anecdotal review, a review of our procurement laws as well. That could also lend some time add some time to that time frame, but we will have some information back from the consultant as to the level of analysis and their availability to provide that information.
So just to follow up, I know that we worked all year on this report, some starting, this is 2018. So I know some through 2017, we anticipated we'd have it in 2018. And certainly, I'm just asking, our thought, what we have been told was really, it was about some of the data. And so I guess the other anecdotal information that is there, is that a part of this data too? Since I know that, I guess the question is, you've talked to lots of people in the community, and they provided information to the consultants. So we will still be utilizing that information from those individuals.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so we're just really now focusing on the correct data that was provided, making sure we've given the correct data to them.
Correct. What I would say is that we're looking at the data. There are also some issues related to their interpretation of our procurement laws over that time frame, 2012 through 2015, which we are also in the process of correcting and providing back to the consultant as well.
Okay, thank you. We hopefully we'd have it in 2019. I mean,
Absolutely.
we
That's our
really, that I think is important. It's important to me personally, and I think to the community also. Councilman Brown moved his hand. We are anticipating the data. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Tyson. Are there further questions for the director? Seeing none, we will move along to the Department of Education, Deputy Director Matt Smido, who also needs to play musical chairs with you, Mr. McGinnis. Or no, you can just come to that works,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Chair Brown, members of council, thank you for the opportunity to present to you the proposed 2019 budget for the Department of Education. Our total proposed budget appropriation is $6.5 million. The majority of this funding, $4.7 million, is for Early Start Columbus. The Early Start Columbus initiative, our pre-K expansion program, provides direct support for pre-K slots, child development associate certificate programs, professional services, and consultant fees. Through this program, we have provided a high-quality pre-K education to over 3,500 Columbus children over the last 4 years. And because of the importance of making data-driven decisions, we are requesting $200,000 for technical support for the C-Hive data platform and $234,000 for Ready for Success, our assessment and teacher coaching program. Providing a safe environment for children to learn after the school day ends remains a priority for our department. The department requests continuation level funding of $389,000 to continue to provide mini grants to after-school providers to assist them with these efforts. In addition, $539,000 will support the administration of our department. Chair Brown, we deeply appreciate the support that you and all council members have given us over the last 5 years. Thank you, and I'd love to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions for Deputy Director Smido? Thank you so much for your hard work on a budget that makes a huge impact to nearly 1,000 children. Next, we have Assistant Health Commissioner of Columbus Public Health, Roger Klern.
Good afternoon, Finance Committee Chair Brown and other members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to highlight Columbus Public Health's proposed 2019 Health Special Revenue Fund budget of $33,575,419. As you know, Columbus Public Health played a critical role in protecting the health and improving the lives of all residents in 2018, yet our community continues to be challenged by an opiate epidemic, a lower but still high number of gun violence deaths, high infant mortality rates, and health disparities caused by the social determinants of health. These critical issues will continue to impact the community and our work into 2019. The Columbus Care Coalition, a collaborative effort led by Columbus Public Health to address community trauma, and one part of Mayor Ginther's comprehensive neighborhood safety strategy, continues to be funded in 2019. The Care Coalition, in its pilot years of 2017 and 2018, reached over 3,000 doors in direct neighborhood outreach, served 480 individuals following a traumatic incident, and led trauma response care training for over 500 people. Additionally, the Care Coalition offered special programming within the faith community, schools, and through social media. In 2019, the Columbus Care Coalition will continue to work with over 200 community partners to provide rapid crisis response, outreach and education, and trauma response trainings to build resilient and healthy and safe communities. New funding of $414,423 is included in our budget to continue and expand the community-wide comprehensive harm reduction program to address heroin and opiate use. The addition of a senior leadership position for CPH will provide oversight and coordination of the Franklin County Opiate Action Plan and our Addiction Services Program. Additionally, $300,000 will be added to the existing contract of $50,000 for a total of $350,000 to support the Safe Point program, providing naloxone access, addiction counseling, treatment referrals, infectious disease screenings, linkage to care, and prevention education. And while working together with all of you to address these pressing public health issues, we also continue to provide the basic public health services that our residents expect and depend on to live healthier and safer lives. In 2018, these basic services included giving nearly 28,000 immunizations to protect against preventable diseases, providing STD services for nearly 8,500 patients, investigating and responding to nearly 100 outbreaks, conducting more than 16,000 food inspections, and providing nearly 105,000 birth and death certificates. The proposed 2019 budget allows continued provision of public health services that are mandated, as well as priority programs that the Board of Health deems minimally essential to meet Ohio's public health standards. We will also address our community's priority areas while continuing our basic services and programs that protect health and improve lives. In closing, I assure you that our investment in our programming and services means quality public health protection is available to all residents. We will continue to operate with high efficiency and effectiveness to protect the health and improve the lives of all residents. As always, we appreciate the support, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. Any questions from my colleagues? Councilmember Tyson.
Thank you, Chair Brown. Roger, just want to, again, thank you and the team and Dr. Roberts for the work that public health does in this community. Especially, I want to give you kudos in terms of the expansion of the Care Coalition. Certainly, this council has been certainly very supportive of that. And also that you're now in this budget taking on the leadership of the Opiate Action Plan, which is critical to our community, and the expanded and the additional dollars for Safe Point. I know we'll have our hearing, I think next week. And but again, I just want to appreciate that the health department has taken on some additional responsibilities to look at the safety of our community. Thank you. Thank you, Chair Brown.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions for Columbus Public Health, I'd like to move to the Department of Human Resources, Director Nikki Brandon.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairwoman Brown and members of Council. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an overview of both the 2019 General Fund and Employee Benefits Fund budgets. The Department of Human Resources provides leadership that promotes and supports organizational excellence through strategic human resources, consultation, and programming. Overall, the Department of Human Resources 2019 General Fund budget reflects a continuation of services with minor adjustments for insurances and internal service funds for print, mail, and technology. The Employee Benefits Fund added improvements related to workers' compensation and injury leave claims management. These funds support 42 full-time employees and 3 part-time employees. The 2019 General Fund budget reflects an overall 1.35% increase. Over 2018 staff levels remain consistent. The Department of Human Resources continues to manage the Mount Carmel Occupational Safety and Health Contract that funds physical fitness assessments and testing for police and fire uniformed personnel. Mount Carmel successfully secured the contract in 2016, and the total budget over the 3 years is $1.2 million. This reflects an increase of $36,000 over the 2018 budget and is the result of an approved target adjustment for full-body skin cancer screenings at each medical exam for firefighters. The occupational safety and health supply budget is $20,000, which is a $5,000 decrease from the 2018 budget. The supplies include protective clothing, hats and boots, safety gloves, bloodborne pathogen fluid cleanup kits, particulate respirators, first aid cabinets and kits, and hearing protectors. The Occupational Safety and Health team partners with the Construction Management Division to provide hazardous waste and asbestos assessments as building renovations are underway. This allows the cost to be folded into the allotted capital renovation funds. Citywide training and development continues to increase the number of CLE-approved in-house training for legal staff, CPE-approved training and credits for accounting staff, and HRCI training credits for citywide human resource professionals. We've been able to do this by significantly reducing the number of 480-hour temps and replacing them with professional full-time staff. This has improved operational efficiency and the quality of our training. We have reduced the impact on the general fund in this area by shifting a portion of the costs for marketing materials to the enterprise fund. The Citywide Training and Development Enterprise Fund is comprised of fees paid by outside partnerships and participants in order to attend our training courses. The marketing materials that we purchase are used at multiple job fairs and things of that nature. Moving on to the Employee Benefits Fund, the 2019 Employee Benefits Fund budget reflects an overall increase of 2.63%. The Employee Benefits Fund budget includes $360,000 for the city's Occupational Safety and Health Clinic. This is a continuation budget and does not reflect an increase. Mount Carmel successfully bid this contract in 2016 as well. This clinic supports all of the civilian and non-uniformed employees. SafeX and electrical engineering surveyors are other continuation contracts that we support. The 2019 budget for maintenance of equipment at the Front Street Fitness Center remains the same at $6,000, and funding to Ohio Health, Work Health for drug and alcohol testing also remained the same. Thank you for supporting the Human Resources Department. I'd like to thank Mayor Ginther and the Department of Finance for their guidance, and to Jeannie Sprague, the Department Fiscal Manager, who supports and keeps me on track. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Director Brandon. We have a question from Councilmember Mitch Brown.
Director Brandon, can you elaborate a little bit on the implicit bias training that is new to the city from your department, please?
I can try to elaborate. We do offer the training. It's been over a year. We have made sure that Karen Clark, who conducts that training, has received her certification, so she is the only certified diversity professional in the city. She's offered that training. It was mandatory in 2018, and so all MCP employees were required to attend. Several employees not in MCP elected to attend the training, and it has gone over very well. It is still offered throughout the city, throughout the year, and it's also been a request of some of our external partners as well. So the training has gone over very well. If you haven't gone, I would highly recommend it. She's very good.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you so much, Director Brandon. Next, we have the Department of Neighborhoods with Director Carla Williams-Scott. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Chair Brown, and good evening, Chair Brown and members of council. The Department of Neighborhoods strives to connect residents to city services, community resources, and foster partnerships that support programs and services that enhance the quality of life for our residents. As we say, we are many neighborhoods, but one Columbus. In 2018, the Department of Neighborhoods has 46 employees with a total budget of $8 million. Staffing includes 44 full-time and 2 part-time employees. Our proposed 2019 budget of just over $11.1 million will include 48 full-time and 2 part-time employees. 2 additional full-time neighborhood liaison positions are being proposed to the Neighborhood and Agency Program Services Division of our department. The addition of 2 full-time neighborhood liaisons will increase our ability to connect with community organizations via civic associations, area commissions, block watch groups, and other community coalitions. Funding for the New Americans program continues to assist with the assimilation of those individuals recently arriving to Columbus and for those whose English is not their first language. This includes translation and interpretation services, as well as 2 additional cohorts of our New American Leadership Academy. This program offers leadership and development training to underrepresented New American youth and young professionals in an effort to increase civic engagement from this segment of our community. Support will continue for the Columbus Neighborhood and Community Grants and support of the My Brother's Keeper program, which continues to address opportunity gaps for boys and young men of color. The Department of Neighborhoods continues to work in collaboration with the Neighborhood Design Center to engage in the Hilltop community and other partners to align resources to develop a comprehensive community plan for the Hilltop area, similar to the planning process that we completed for the Linden community. The One Linden plan was completed in September and released in October. With your support of the 2019 budget, this would include support for the neighborhood and community planning process to begin in the Hilltop and implementation of the One Linden plan. $5.4 million will be allocated to the Neighborhood Crisis Response. Neighborhood Crisis Response is one of the initiatives under the Mayor's Comprehensive Neighborhood Safety Strategy, which was implemented in 2018. This comprehensive neighborhood safety strategy is multifaceted, cross-departmental approach to address neighborhood safety, focusing on physical and social deterrence of crime. As part of the Neighborhood Crisis Response, we are informed by learning from other elements of the safety strategy, such as the Safe Streets Initiative, Safe Routes to School, and community input from the One Linden Plan. Efforts included in the Neighborhood Crisis Response will include increased lighting in our communities, upgraded improvements to the built environment that directly contribute to reduction in crime. Neighborhood Crisis Response funds will be used for safety-related public and improvement projects in the South Linden community, Hilltop, and on the South Side. Thank you, Council, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Director. Any questions from my colleagues? I meant to highlight when each of the additional hearings was for each of the departments as we went through, and I forgot. I will restart doing that, and then I'll recap them at the end. But the hearing of the Neighborhoods Committee and the Technology Committee, chaired by Council President Pro Tem Michael Stinziano, will be held on Tuesday, December 18th at 5 p.m. Next, we have the Department of Public Service, and we're joined by Assistant Director Steve Wenzel.
Finance Chair Brown, members of council, thank you for this opportunity to present the highlights of the Department of Public Service's proposed 2019 operating budget. The Department of Public Service is comprised of the Director's Office and 5 divisions: refuse collection, parking services, infrastructure management, traffic management, and design and construction. In 2019, we have a proposed funding level of $118.8 million for the Department of Public Service, which represents just a 1.4% increase over the 2018 operating budget. This will fund 787 full and part-time personnel that provide some of the most core city services, including refuse collection, which contains residential bulk and recycling, maintaining and improving our roadways, fixing potholes and plowing snow, installation and maintenance of traffic signals, signage, and pavement markings to promote the safety of our citizens, publicly managed parking, and making Columbus safer for cities, making Columbus safer city for pedestrians and bicyclists. The proposed 2019 budget for the Director's Office is $6.5 million, or just 5.4% of the overall proposed budget. The Director's Office provides the overall coordination and policy direction for the department, as well as a consolidated fiscal and human resource function. In 2019, for the Division of Refuse Collection, we have proposed funding of $36.9 million. This proposed funding will support 226 full-time personnel, that provide trash collection services to more than 334,000 households every week, 52 weeks a year. Of the 226 full-time personnel, 9 will be dedicated to support the Clean Neighborhoods Initiative to address the persistent problem of illegal dumping in our neighborhoods, with a total budget allocation of $1,350,000. The Division of Refuse Collection is also home of the city's Keep Columbus Beautiful program, or KCB. Every year, KCB staff of 3 full-time people work with thousands of volunteers from neighborhoods, businesses, schools, churches, and other community organizations to clean litter from Columbus streets. New for 2019 is the creation of the Parking Services Division. The 2019 proposed budget for parking services is approximately $6.9 million, all supported by parking meter revenues. The Division of Parking Services is responsible for the administration, enforcement, operations, and management of public parking in the City of Columbus. The division also sets policy and manages parking and access programs. In 2019, the Parking Meter Program Fund will also include the creation of the Short North Parking Benefit District, a fund in which excess parking meter revenue within the Short North will be reinvested back into the Short North District once the city recovers all its costs. This will fund transportation and mobility initiatives to support the Short North Parking Plan. The Division of Infrastructure Management's 2019 total budget request is $33.8 million, all within the Street Construction Maintenance and Repair Fund. The division provides street maintenance services within the City of Columbus rights-of-way, including street sweeping, litter control, graffiti removal, and snow and ice removal, all in an efficient manner. As you may have noticed, winter has arrived early this year, and our snow warriors have been working hard to keep our roads safe. We begin this winter season with approximately 113 equipment operators, plus more than 144 additional city employees cross-trained to drive snow equipment in extreme winter weather conditions. We have 176 pieces of winter weather equipment and currently have almost 25,000 tons of salt on hand, with an additional purchasing capacity of 16,500 tons. The Division of Traffic Management is making our streets safer for motorists, pedestrians, and bicyclists. The division's 2019 total proposed budget is $14.3 million. The Division of Traffic Management is responsible for planning, educating, and advocating for greater mobility of various roadway users to ensure a safe and efficient transportation system for pedestrians, bicyclists, and vehicular traffic, as well as improving neighborhood livability and safety. The Division of Design and Construction's 2019 total proposed budget is $20.3 million. The Division of Design and Construction is responsible for developing quality construction plans, managing design contracts, and enabling the department to build and maintain a safe and efficient transportation system. In addition, the division manages construction contracts, providing quality and timely construction inspection, surveying, and materials testing services in support of public service, public utilities, and privately funded infrastructure construction projects. That concludes my presentation of the 2019 Department of Public Service proposed operating budget. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. It's incredible all that the service department does on a daily basis to keep our city moving, so thank you for the hard work. Anything from my colleagues? Seeing no questions, we will move on to the Department of Public Utilities. We are joined by Assistant Director John Lee.
Good evening, Councilmember Brown and members of City Council. Thank you for allowing me to present the Department of Public Utilities 2019 operating budget. The department's total budget for 2019 is $632 million. This is a 2% increase above the 2018 budget. The budget supports approximately 1,272 personnel. The increase in the budget for 2019 is largely driven by our Director's Office budget and our stormwater budget. The budgets for water, sewer, and power are overall continuation budgets. In our Director's Office budget, the increase is going from $30 million to $32 million. The division provides leadership to all divisions and shared services. The increase is due to the shift of 18 personnel from our permit office from our sewers division to the director's office. The reason for this change is that the permit office is a shared service benefiting multiple divisions, and allocating its budget across all divisions is more equitable. This change added $2.1 million in personnel and supply costs to the director's budget. For our division of stormwater, this division provides effective stormwater collection services to the community within corporate limits of Columbus. Overall, the budget totals $42 million and is $2.8 million higher than the 2018 budget. Personnel is budgeted higher in 2018 due to the planned hiring of 6 new full-time employees to help support and maintain compliance citywide with our U.S. EPA MS4 stormwater requirements. In recent discussions with the U.S. EPA, we have committed to increasing our compliance prevention of harmful pollutants from being washed into storm sewers and local rivers. The Division of Water, the total budget is $191 million, as a 1% increase above 2018 levels. The division's O&M budget is 1.5% higher than 2018, while debt service remains relatively flat. The budget will support a total of 443 full-time personnel. Overall, the division's budget is a continuation budget with no anticipated changes in service levels. In 2019, construction will continue at our water plants, and we will begin implementing our enhanced metering program by replacing water meters with advanced meters with remote read and data tracking technology. For our division of sewers and drains, this budget is approximately $280 million and is 1.7% higher than 2018 levels. Operations expenses increase about 3.5%, while debt service increases 0.6% above 18 levels. Debt service makes up 59% of the division's total budget, which pays back the principal and interest on bonds and loans we use to support our major capital program. In 2019, Blueprint Columbus will continue in neighborhoods to eliminate the source of sewer overflows and basement backups. Finally, our Division of Power's budget is set at $87 million, which is a 0.1% increase above 2018. 65% of that budget, or $58 million, supports the wholesale purchase of electric power to support our customers. Personnel expenses are above 2018 levels due to the anticipated hiring of another distribution crew to help service existing customers and maintain current service levels. We will continue our neighborhood street lighting program and invest in the maintenance of our distribution network in 2019. Councilmember Brown and members of council, thank you again for the opportunity to present the 2019 operating budget for the Department of Public Utilities. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you so much. Next, we have the Recreation and Parks Department, Director Tony Collins.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown, members of council. It's my pleasure today to introduce to you the 2019 budget proposal for Columbus Recreation and Parks. As you know, our mission in Columbus Recreation and Parks is to connect the people of our community through the power of nature, wellness, and creativity. Our goal is at CRPD is driven to be the premier health and wellness resource for our residents of Columbus, with more than 373 parks, 29 community centers, 5 athletic complexes, 6 golf courses, and 120 miles of regional trails. Our vision is to ensure every resident has access to all of the department's many services. When you visit one of our parks, we expect our spaces to be a place of joy. We expect our facilities and parks to be open for all. And last, we expect our spaces to be embedded in neighborhoods and serve as a gathering place for every member of our community. We align our department's goals with our 2014 master plan because we believe our spaces are important assets that are entrusted for generations, which is why we plan for tomorrow and not just for today. Our proposal for the 2019 budget totals $54,738,615 and represents a continuation budget. The budget includes and supports the mayor's priorities, and because as a department, we focus on neighborhoods and providing resources that allow our communities to congregate, grow, and prosper. Our budget includes our dollars to support our daily operations of those centers, the 27 community centers, parks, facilities, and our forestry divisions that I mentioned earlier. This budget does include dollars to support our Centers for Opportunity, which includes additional staffing and operational support that drive the initiatives with private and public and nonprofit partners to enhance and expand programs and services in 11 centers in our 8 most challenged neighborhoods as identified by the CelebrateOne initiatives. This budget includes and supports our applications for Purpose, Pride, and Success program. The 2019 budget includes funding for our Youth and Family Development Division to lift up that program that also serves our 8 most challenged neighborhoods through investment in apps, which targets our young people 14 to 24 years old. This budget also includes dollars for our Schools Out initiatives. The 2019 budget includes dollars for Schools Out, which provides programming during spring break, winter break, and summer break for Columbus youth in our 27 community centers and in our parks. The funding supports the coordination of the Schools Out initiative across the city, which focuses on bringing together our partners throughout the community in our libraries, the YMCA, other nonprofits, to provide a comprehensive approach to sharing the resources that are available to our children, young adults, and families throughout out-of-school times. The budget includes a modest growth, projected growth of 3% in our revenue to drive $11.995 million in earned revenue and contributed revenue to the department. It also includes funding for an initiative in 2019 to finalize our 5-year operational plan to finish out this 10-year master plan process and begin ready for our next master plan process. It includes funding for our expansion of our diversity and inclusion initiatives, which includes our planning that will grow our efforts over our 2019 or 18 successes. It includes funding to support our cultural arts and outdoor education center programming, as well as our trusted and relied upon summer food initiative, which in 2018 provided over 500,000 meals at 225 sites. Councilmember Brown, thank you to you and your team for helping support our department throughout the past year. I want to thank our CRPD team, our finance team for helping to put this budget together, the mayor's team for their support, as well as the CRPD commission for their work and support on this budget proposal.
Thank you so much, Director Collins. Any questions, Councilmember? Thank you for all the work you do. We have 2 departments left. Next up is the Department of Public Safety. Deputy Director Kate Pisciotti will present on, as Director Lombardi said, 68% of the budget that goes to public safety.
Good evening, Councilperson Brown, members of council. I'm pleased to present to you a brief synopsis of the Public Safety 2019 budget. First, I would be remiss to not recognize Assistant Director Echo Dennis and Josh Hopping and Aileen Heiser for their work on this budget. Public Safety manages the operations of the divisions of Police, Fire, and Support Services and the Safety Director's Office. We're very appreciative of the budget allocated to public safety as it continued to be Mayor Ginther's top priority as shown by the allocation of 68% of the general fund budget. The 2019 public safety budget totals approximately $622.5 million. This budget represents a 2.65% increase over the 2018 public safety projected expenditures. This budget allocates $342.3 million for police, $264 million for fire, $7.6 million for support services, and $8.4 million for safety administration. With these funds, the department will continue to provide exceptional public safety services from the internationally accredited divisions of police and fire. Some of the major public safety initiatives for 2019 include a fire class, the proposed budget of 75 recruits, 35 in June and 40 in December, continues the mayor's trend of increasing the total number of firefighters over projected retirements. For a number of years, we were only budgeted funding for a single fire class. However, Mayor Ginther added an additional class for a total of 65 in 2016 and also budgeted 2 classes totaling 80 recruits in 2017 and 85 in 2018. The 2019 year-end projected number of 1,596 firefighters will help us prepare for the opening of a new fire station, Fire Station 35, in 2020. For police, it's anticipated that during 2019 there will be a total of 80 separations. Officers lost through these separations will be replaced with 2 budgeted classes totaling 80 recruits, 40 in June and 40 in December. This will make it possible to maintain our nationally accredited Division of Police and also maintain sworn personnel at the highest level ever. The Division of Police will continue and expand the Narcan program started in 2017 with $150,000 to equip additional officers with this life-saving drug to counter heroin overdoses. New and expanded neighborhood safety strategies will be funded through a new $2.9 million Safe Street Initiative Fund in the 2019 safety budget. This $2.9 million fund will allow the Columbus Division of Police to continue to effectively implement a longer program while maintaining the necessary patrols for Columbus. This funding will help build upon the widespread success that we found in the program this past summer while continuing to foster safety and enhance police-community relations. Both the Divisions of Police and Fire will implement a cadet program in 2019, which will leverage community partnerships to build a pipeline of qualified and diverse candidates to enter the Safety Force Academies of both police and fire. Public Safety will work with Fleet Management Division to determine the number of cruisers, unmarked vehicles, and other general fund light vehicles to be replaced in 2019. In 2018, the Public Safety Department purchased 86 first responder units, 58 unmarked units for the Divisions of Police and Fire. In all, a little over $5 million was spent on light-duty, non-capital units for police and fire. The following programs are funded at or slightly more than last year. The jail contract is funded at $4.5 million. EMS billing is funded at $2.3 million. Community Crime Patrol at $375,000. Columbus Humane at $225,000. The Truancy Program at $75,000. And the Cope and Foam Boards at $67,000. And finally, through this budget, police will continue to strive to forge better community relations and continue to engage the community to foster a partnership of mutual trust and greater understanding. Thank you for your time. Public Safety appreciates the generous support of Mayor Ginther, the Columbus community, and City Council. Thank you.
Director Pashotti,
Yes,
there
sir.
was no reference specifically, or I missed it, on body-worn cameras. We continue to expand the program for police officers?
Yes, sir. We're ahead of the game in 2018, so we'll continue with the program as we go into 2019.
So the objective is to continue to expand the program for BWCs for our police officers?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. And one other question, I guess probably for finance more than for you, is on the capital budget with regards to community cameras. I know that's also one of the areas that the mayor has strong feelings about. What's the status with regards to that?
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. As you know, the capital budget is the next thing that we'll be presenting to council. We are just now beginning to put the information together for that process. We haven't had an opportunity yet to sit down and talk with the departments and see what their requests are.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member, and thank you, Deputy Director Pashotti. Finally, we have, and the safety hearing, thank you, Councilman. I keep forgetting. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and then I keep forgetting. The public safety hearing to hear more in depth about the overview given by Deputy Director Pashotti will be chaired by my colleague, Councilmember Mitch Brown, and it will be held at 5 p.m. in this room on Wednesday, December 19th. And our final department to present before we have two public speaker slips here is the Department of Technology. We are joined by Assistant Director Gwen Acrobeto.
Good evening, Council, Finance Chair Brown, and other council members. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present the Department of Technology's 2019 proposed budget. I also would like to thank my staff, Jackie Robert and Susanna Gessler, for working with me in preparing the 2019 Department of Technology's budget, as well as the Finance Department for their support and guidance in this budget process as well. The Department of Technology supports the local government information infrastructure by providing uninterrupted, secure, and reliable information systems which both touch both the internal and external customers. The Department of Technology maintains 2 data centers, but also provides support for 12 essential services such as network, telecommunications, application programming services, desktop, IT security, GIS data management, and media services. In addition to maintaining 6 citywide enterprise applications such as payroll, GIS, Excel 311, and performance, as a historical database, and over 54 major lines of applications used by various departments, in addition to certain technology services that we provide to our external customer, like the Franklin County Board of Commissioners that uses our media services. The department's budget is a continuous level budget. It is comprised of $18,866,539, which represents about 46% from the general fund, and $21,410,689, which is approximately 54% from other fund agencies such as the Department of Public Utilities, Public Service Transportation, Building and Zoning Services, and Employee Benefits, for a total budget amount of $40,277,228. The budget entails two divisions within Department of Technology. The Administration Division has the Director's Office and also our agencies, both general fund and other funds, technology direct charge budget. And that budget entails approximately $9.8 million, or 24% of the $40 million budget. And Information Services Division's budget is $30.4 million, which represents about 76% of the overall budget. The increase that occurred in 2019 will be in the direct charge budget for our other fund agencies, particularly Department of Public Utilities, who has requested several projects, particularly time and attendance project that Department of Technology will be working with Department of Public Utilities on that project, as well as several of their applications that we require major upgrades. The Department of Technology's budget will fund 159 full-time positions and four full-time positions. And also in our requested budget requests, we have asked that we be given approximately $700,000 for computer replacements for the general fund agencies. They're on a replacement plan, and so we can't replace all the computers in 1 year. So every year we break it up to identify which computers that need to be replaced, and so we are respectfully requesting approximately $700,000 for general fund computer replacements. If there are any other questions, or if there have any questions at this time, I would be happy to answer.
Thank you so much. Any questions? All right. And as stated before, the Technology Committee's hearing will be combined with the Neighborhoods Committee hearing, which is being chaired by President Pro Tem Michael Stinziano, and that is Tuesday, December 18th at 2018 at 5:00 p.m. Thank you to all the department heads. We will now take public testimony. We have 2 speaker slips here, and I will take them in the order in which they were submitted. 2 speaker slips. The first is from a Mr. Stephen Edelstein. Thank you for being here, Mr. Edelstein. If you could, once you get to the podium, just state your name and address and if you're affiliated with any group, and you have 3 minutes.
Sure, thank you. My name is Stephen Edelstein. My address is 6554 Clifton Park Circle. It's a New Albany mailing address, but I'm a Columbus City resident. And I'm here representing the One ID Coalition. The potential collaboration of 2 ongoing initiatives presents Columbus with a unique and historic opportunity to set itself apart as a truly inclusive and welcoming city by developing a multifunctional, consolidated credential for its residents. The first of those initiatives is the Smart Columbus plan to develop a smart card or mobile app that will permit residents, including those who are unbanked or lack traditional credit cards, to be able to use first-mile, last-mile transit options that require passenger identification. The second initiative is the One ID Columbus proposal for a municipal ID program for the city. A municipal ID would be a smart card or mobile app that would be available to applicants who present appropriate documents establishing their identity and city residency. On a local level, it would be recognized as a valid form of government-issued identification. By merging these two exciting initiatives, the city could develop a single card or app that would not only accomplish the objectives that Smart Columbus envisions, but would do much, much more. Imagine a single card or app that could function as a library card, a Parks and Recreations card, a CODA senior card, key card, or downtown worker pass, a debit card for paying for parking meters or for CODA, Uber, KOGO, and motorized scooter fares, a membership or discount card for local cultural and artistic venues, or a school ID. This one card or app could begin the process of reclaiming the financial resources that a variety of public and private entities now waste on producing, issuing, maintaining, and managing single-purpose cards. A well-designed municipal ID program has the potential to be a city unifier, to serve as a branding mechanism, and to be a source of city pride. Because so many other forward-looking cities have already embraced municipal IDs, Columbus can benefit from incorporating an emerging body of best practices in the design of its ID. Now is the time for Columbus to seize this golden opportunity to facilitate collaboration and merge the efforts of Smart Columbus and One ID Columbus to produce a multifunctional ID card. Since time is of the essence, we ask that a line item for a local ID program be included in the city's 2019 budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Thank you for coming and for your continued advocacy. As you know, Council did allocate funding to study and understand the real costs of an ID program. We allocated that about, I think, between a month or two ago, and we look forward to getting those results back. I believe, as budget chair, as finance chair, that we really need to understand budget implications in order to continue this conversation. But I appreciate the creativity with which you're approaching your advocacy using a coalition model. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Jennifer Mankin. If you would please approach the podium. Is Jennifer here? Ms. Mankin, if you would state your name, whether you have an affiliation, your address, and you have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. I am with the Incarcerated Workers Organizing Committee. My name is Jennifer Mankin. And I'm here tonight to speak regarding the $342 million of Mayor Ginther's proposed $902 million 2019 budget that's earmarked for police efforts, including increasing the bike patrols and hiring 80 new officers to replace those projected to be leaving the force this coming year, in addition to instituting a new cadet program to introduce those under the age of 21 to the career of policing, with one of the major goals to be increasing the diversity of Columbus Police Department to be more representative of the diversity of our city. Our city has a population that is somewhere in the area of 40% non-white, and the police force is 85% white. And apparently, if I just heard correctly, and I may be mistaken on this, $2.9 million of that is going to be devoted to revitalizing the so-called summer safety initiative involving plainclothes cops in unmarked cars over policing so-called high crime areas, which really translates into areas with high black populations, has been wildly unpopular, so much so that the name has had to change every year, and it was put on hold last year due to the pressure from the community after it directly led to the death of Henry Green. I'm here to recommend that the City Council approve nowhere near that amount of money to increase the activities of a police force that is well known for its egregious acts of violence, specifically against African American males and in general all people of color in Columbus. Between 2013 and 2017, there were 28 homicides committed by the Columbus Police Department. 21 of those were black men. Since that time, nothing has been done to address the rampant violence and racism that has been given free rein within this force. In fact, more has been done to co-sign it than anything else. But I'm not here today to talk about how to improve the Columbus Police Department. Study after study has shown that the key to improving our communities is not more policing, but in fact less. Since the 1980s, the rampant increase in the over-policing, including its militarization, has directly contributed to the U.S. being the leading incarcerator in the world, despite it having only a fifth of the world's population. It has led to another spike in death and destruction against those who are marginalized and oppressed. While only about 13% of the American population is black, 28% of the people killed by police are black. African American adults are 5 times more likely to be imprisoned than white Americans. African Americans are twice as likely as their white counterparts to have a family member imprisoned at some point during their childhood, with overall incarceration rates more than 500% higher than they were 40 years ago. Black millennials and post-millennials are at a greater risk of contact with the system than any previous generation. In fact, a new analysis finds that 1 in 4 black millennials had an incarcerated loved one before they even turned 18. For those born in the early 1990s, the rate is almost 1 in 3. Lest we be misled by the idea that diversifying the police force is the key to ending racist violence, the truth is that when disparities in employment diversity are factored in, black cops kill and incarcerated black people at higher rates than white cops do. So I am just here to remind you all that giving money to the police is not the answer to solving crime rates. Giving money to Housing First initiatives, to transformational justice.
If you could conclude your sentence.
And restorative justice circles is really the key to helping our communities.
Thank you so much, Ms. Menken. I appreciate your testimony and your advocacy, and the Public Safety Committee hearing where you'll hear more about the $342 million, as well as the rest of the department's budget, does occur on Wednesday, December 19th. It is a complex budget, and each dollar goes to a diversity of things, and painting a broad brush of just $342 million is about what we had time for today. But we are available, Chair Brown is available to answer additional questions. Is there anything you wanted to add, Chair Brown?
No, I think you're fine.
Okay, thank you. That concludes our hearing today. I would like to thank Matt Erickson, who runs our budget efforts from the City Council here, for your very hard work. I'd like to thank my legislative aide, Kelsey Ellingson, and my legislative assistant, James Carmine, for their hard work in putting this hearing together. I'd like to thank my council member colleagues, President Shannon Hardin, President Pro Tem Michael Stinziano, Councilmember Priscilla Tyson, Councilmember Mitch Brown, and Councilmember Emmanuel Remy for being here, as well as Councilmember Page and all of the council members for chairing a series of budget hearings that will dive deeper into the brief overviews given by each department here today. All of those will be completed before the end of the year, so that next year council can look towards any amendments and final passage, so that we can get to work in 2019. On Wednesday, November 28th, the Councilmember Tyson chairs the Health and Human Services and Workforce Development Committee hearings at 4 p.m. On Tuesday, December 4th, I will chair the Education and Recreation and Parks hearing at 4 p.m. On Wednesday, December 5th, Councilmember Page will chair the Housing, Economic Development, Small Business Committee's hearing at 5 p.m. On Thursday, December 6th, Councilmember Page will chair the Judiciary and Court Administration Committee hearing at 5 p.m. Tuesday, December 11th at 5:30 p.m., Councilmember Remy will chair the Public Service and Transportation, Environment, and Administration Committees. On Wednesday, December 12th at 5 p.m., Councilmember Stinziano will chair the Public Utilities Committee hearing. And on Tuesday, December 18th, Councilmember Cinziano will chair the Neighborhoods Committee and Technology Committee hearings. And on Wednesday, December 19th, our final hearing will be the Public Safety Committee at 5 p.m., chaired by my colleague Mitchell Brown. Thank you again to everyone for their hard work. Thank you to the citizens who came tonight and listened to this overview presentation. We look forward to your continued advocacy and to hearing from you individually in our offices if needed to refine answers to your questions. Thanks so much. Have a good evening.